Hello everyone, welcome to the last video on healing on the 7th chakra. Welcome, my name is Jaspir. I help you heal, rise, and live more soul aligned. So I want to say thank you to everyone who's watched all the other 6 videos on the chakras, and today we're finally on the 7th one, the crown chakra, meeting the divine, dissolving into the pure consciousness. So before we get started, I want to make a quick little announcement. First, I want to say thank you to everyone who subscribed. Thanks for everyone who watches these healing videos. And thank you for supporting me. I hope you get to learn something new about yourself through this channel. And I want to make a quick announcement that on September 6th, we'll be doing a seminar on spirituality and different type of meditations and stuff. It's free. If you're interested in joining, it'll be over Zoom, 1 hour, 1 hour on Saturday, September 9th. My email is always in the description box below. So email me if you want to be part of the seminar. And let's get started on today's video. Very exciting. So finally, we have made it to the crown chakra, my favorite. Everybody wants to meet God, feel God. And we are so conditioned in today's society that only some people can meet God. Only the yogis have the power to meet God. Only God is found in mountains or temples, or God looks like this. Everybody has different opinions. But through enlightenment, through true awakening, we get to realize that we're all just one. The consciousness is all one. We are all interconnected. We're all the same light. So when the energy, your kundalini has risen up, you have gone through all the chakras, and it's gone to the third eye. And when you're ready, and you're finally ready to tap into your crown chakra, what does it feel like? How do you tap into it? So let's talk about it a little bit. On a very, very simple example, the bliss, the divine feeling. Some of us, when we listen to our favorite song from the childhood or recently, and for that split 2 seconds, you get this rush of cool energy through your body. That's a glimpse of the divine consciousness. And now, when you're in a deep meditative state, your body is filled with that energy. That's the consciousness energy. Now, in different religion, that energy is referred with different names. So around the world, in India, it's Krishna consciousness. It could be different word for the Buddhist people. In the Western, it's Christian, Christ consciousness and oneness. So how do you get to that level of merging with the oneness? What does it feel like? So last time I talked about how to sit in a deep meditation, your chakras have to be clean, you have to become thoughtless, and you don't get to do it, your consciousness does it. You just have to let go of your control. And when you're sitting in meditation, your consciousness rises from your navel to your chest, to your throat, to your third eye. Now, that's your breathing. So your breathing slowly turns upwards. And if you're breathing into your pineal gland, which is known as third eye, and if you stop there, that's when you have those DMT experiences. I think there's a name for that medical chemical. And you get to see the rainbows, the different colors, the patterns, and all that. That's when you're in your pineal gland. But to merge with the one consciousness, you have to go above that. You don't want to stop your consciousness in the pineal gland. A lot of times that's where most people stop and think that's the magical state. No, there's one above it. Now, when you have fully surrendered, so in order to tap into your higher chakras, the third eye and the crown, your ego has to let go of the control on the breath. You sit in a relaxed position, you meditate, deep breath in and out. You watch your breathing. And there's no name for this type of meditation because it's not practiced most often, and you have to be very careful when you do it, because there comes a point when it feels like you're going to pass out. And that's the moment where your ego has to let go of its grip on the consciousness, your breathing. And when you tap into your crown chakra, there's a term known in the Sanskrit language as samadhi. And this is almost the equivalent word in the English language I can say is like human hibernation. Your body starts to slow down its functions, and you're merged with one consciousness, and you're no longer part of this physical world anymore. Instead of being the doer, you absorb now. And this video might be quite bizarre for a lot of folks here looking for what is God. So let me explain the experience when you meet God. When you're in deep meditation, and it's not the type that's taught in schools or yogic and stuff like this. This is very highly advanced practice where your consciousness has to merge into your crown. And when you go from the pineal to the crown, you can practice. You don't have to go to the mountains. You can easily practice this type of meditation, the samadhi, at home. But it takes years and years of practice. Because we have ego control over money, cars, our job, status, and we can dissolve that, no problem. But when it comes to dissolving the grip on your own breath, that's the most scariest thing. We think our breathing keeps us alive. That rhythmic pattern, that deep breath has to go in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. But when you automate that, you surrender that, then consciousness takes over and it starts to merge with the one consciousness. So how does it feel like meeting the divine? When you're in a meditative state, and there's different states. The deep meditation state, when you go from your pineal into the crown, that's when your consciousness has surrendered. Then your body becomes so warm. There's a tingling feeling running through your whole body. And there's no thoughts. That's all left behind at a very early stage. So there's no thoughts, there's no feelings, there's no emotions. Your consciousness has merged, and you just feel this warmth over your physical body, this tingling, like thousand little ants running around your body. And when you're in that samadhi, the deep meditative state, whichever room you're in, when you truly merge with the light, the source, it might be dark in the room, but when you start merging, it feels like there's 1,000 light bulbs that have gone on. And hence why the crown chakra is described as 1,000-petal lotus. The power, the energy of merging in the source is quite grand. And once you experience that bliss, that state, that merging, that's when you realize what you've been looking for all along is in this stillness, in this silence. Now, there's different stages of samadhi or different type of deep meditation. Even in the crown chakra, there's different layers now, and how you're practicing the consciousness. First is to realize it's called enlightenment. Once your enlightenment has happened, you realize that you're no longer separate. Your light is no longer separate than from the divine that we've been looking for all our life. Some people that are living in the lower chakra spend their whole lifetime searching for God in temples, churches, various things, giving money, thinking they're going to buy God or experience God. All you have to do is just unplug from the world, go within with a pure heart, purify yourself, and get ready to meet the divine in the stillness. Now, when you become enlightened, when your consciousness merges with the divine, that's when you truly see the world from a different light. When you're in the deep meditative state, in samadhi with the crown, there's a few things that happen to your physical body. Number one, your breath per minute changes. And then the second thing is your heartbeat per minute changes. So do not get these two confused. There's your breath, your breathing patterns, how many breaths are going into your body, and then what heart rate is your heart, excuse me, what your heartbeat is beating at in deep meditative state. So typically, at a very advanced state, what I have experienced, that heartbeat drops down to 3 to 4 breaths per minute, just to keep oxygen in this body flowing. And then your heartbeat tends to drop down to 30 beats per minute. That's what I have experienced at this age, in this lifetime. But there's grand masters out there that are able to dissolve the breath down to 2 breath to 1 breath per minute, or they become breathless for a while, for minutes or hours, where there's no need to breathe anymore. They absorb the consciousness. This is very, very highly practiced, and it's very hard to experience that breathless, that even 1 breath per minute state. It's so hard when we're living in a world like that. You have to be in a very deep meditative samadhi state your whole life. And then the heartbeats per minute. Some people think you're gonna pass out, you're gonna faint if your heartbeat is dropping, you're gonna have low blood pressure. But when you're surrendering to the cosmic energy, that energy is replenishing your physical body now. So these are miracles that happens in a very deep meditative trance state that most people will not understand unless you're living and experiencing it. So this video on the crown, it's quite divine for me because I'm tapping in between my experiences and what experience one might experience here in the world. If you have more questions on this state or you want to have more mystical talks, email me. I'll explain to you. If you have watched this video and you have truly connected with me on the different chakras and you really want to know what it is like to be in that state, email me. I would love to connect with you. And so in advanced samadhi, like I just summarized, your breathing per minute stops and your heartbeat changes. Now, when you're completely submersed in the one consciousness, time, space, matter doesn't exist anymore. Your eyes are closed, you're in deep samadhi, you're in deep consciousness states where the life outside, the life continues, but the ego has dissolved into the one consciousness. You can do this for 1 hour, 30 minutes, 3 days, however long you want. It's a very personal journey between you and your divine path. How long you choose to dissolve into the one consciousness and when you tap back into this world. And how you choose to live in this present state. So, to experience that oneness, for different people, there's different paths through devotional, through meditation. When you have submersed yourself in the one consciousness, there's different levels, different type of samadhis out there. So, just to name a few, that meditative state, the deeper states that happen after you have submersed. In Sanskrit, they're known as savikalpa, nirvikalpa, vikalpa, savichara, sahaja samadhi, and bhavna samadhi. I'll talk about the last two quickly because they're very dear, and these are the states where you live in the one consciousness, walking around living without belonging to your ego. There's some when you're in a deep meditative state and you sit in the mountains and you're gone for years and years, your body is just present. But there's some you're in the meditative state, you're in the one consciousness, but you're living in the physical world. There's the bhava samadhi. That's living a life of devotion. For example, the first person that comes to mind is Rumi, Mirabai, Kabirji. So there's different mystics, different very highly spiritual folks out there that live this path while being part of this world, but they're in a higher conscious state all the time. I'll share a very deep and personal fact story here with you guys. How do I practice that samadhi state? I'm living in the sahaja samadhi state. If you guys want to know more, connect or you can research on it. sahaja samadhi state. And one obtains it through Jnana Yoga. Now, Jnana Yoga is self-realization. And this journey that I embarked on when I was 13 has led me on the self-realization path to the point where I've merged with the one consciousness and practicing that sahaja consciousness. So, it feels quite personal, opening up a very deep part of my life. And there's no notes on this. There's no script for today's video. There's nothing. It's because it's been a personal journey for me to guide you into the crown chakra. So some people dance joy and they are in this state of bliss all day long. That's bhava samadhi, okay? The divine bliss. So the ones who have found them, the divine, only they can explain. So some people find the divine in a few minutes. Some people spend their whole lifetime being confused. And I mentioned the word Jnana Yoga, how it happens. Jnana Yoga is a term in astrology where certain planetary alignments help you obtain self-realization on this path of the divine. One of the biggest one is Mercury and Jupiter conjunction. The second one is Ketu and Jupiter conjunction in a chart. There's a few other ones. I'm not going to go to, I'll do a video on this on astrological day, but your fifth and the ninth lord, if they're well placed, conjunct, well aspected, that can also give a type of Jnana Yoga. So the state that I talked about, Sahaja Samadhi, it's a state of natural, uninterrupted awareness of the self. Not just only during meditation, but throughout all activities in your daily life. It's not a trance. You're not pulling away from the world anymore. You're not isolated in the mountains and practicing a certain type of samadhi, but you yourself, the doer, the ego, is completely dissolved. And what remains after that, that word in the Indian language, the man, the me, the I, completely dissolve. What remains is a pure lifestyle, spontaneous actions daily that arise from pure consciousness. So you're no longer living from the heart as well. You're living from a pure consciousness state. So in that state, there's no more personal doer or the ego. Your awareness remains steady even while acting, thinking, perceiving, doing all the daily mundane tasks. It's the accumulation of spiritual realization, and it's abidance in dual awareness without any effort. So I follow a certain path. What's your path when you merge with the oneness? What it feels like? Do you have any confusions? Email me. I hope you have learned something new, how beautiful it is to merge into the crown chakra, what it feels like to live it. Once you obtain such an experience, the definition of God completely changes. So you cannot go out after your awakening and argue with people who are not awakened yet and try to explain to them what God really is. Someone who has not gone through the awakening or the self-realization or merged into oneness yet, they might not even know. You're just arguing with someone who's blind. You cannot guide them unless they walk their own path. Someone who is highly religious, they might have never walked this path of spirituality before. It's possible. So that's why a lot of people choose to keep their spiritual life very private. Because a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people call them crazy. There's no higher authority, lower authority anymore once you merge with the with the pure consciousness, with the light. And this is the same light that we merge into when passing away. When in the hospital beds, you hear stories from nurses, hospital staff, about the people who are passing away, that they can see the light. They say they're merging into the light. And this is the same thing that you, while you're healthy, while you're active, you're in this meditative state. You transcend above this materialistic world into the light. From that light, you bring down the energy, the imprints of the consciousness, and you work through the third light to be able to speak the divine truth, to help people, to guide them, to heal them, to create beautiful things in this world. Now, for different people, this light is channeled differently. Someone who's writing poetry, that pen and the paper and the words, that's their divine light being decoded by the third eye into beautiful words, and they're writing it down. For a painter, that white canvas is to start off with, the white board completely, and they start painting beautiful paintings, abstract paintings, and all the different types of paintings. That's their consciousness, their pure bliss. They're working with the light, but that light is being translated into this beautiful artwork. Now, an architect, he works on a software, AutoCAD, completely blank, and he's using that light to create beautiful buildings, structures, homes. Every one of us has a different light. So when we see that light being channeled differently, it's a beautiful journey on this planet. It's when we all come together as a collective and realize we're just one. We're no separate from one another. Why are we trying to cheat each other? Why are we trying to kill each other over money? Why are we trying to hurt? You're no more successful than I am. I'm no more successful than you are. I'm no more advanced than you or I, or reverse. We're all just one end of the day. Why can't we just be nice? This world is stuck so much in the ego. How do you explain this system to the people who have awakened? How do you give this unconditional love to someone who hasn't now woken up yet? So this journey of the light is so beautiful. It's so personal. It's so divine. Now, for someone to say, have you met God? How can you meet God? That little line that everybody talks about. Who are the God figures in our lives, right? I respect every God. Please do not get personal on me. Whether it be Jesus Christ, Lord Ganesha, Lord Hanuman, or Buddha, or in Sikhism, we have the gurus, but we don't call them God. They're the teachers, the masters of the divine, right? So if you think meeting Shiva is possible, or how do you describe that experience of meeting Shiva? Well, you meet the Shiva consciousness. Shiva is an energetic state. You merge into it. Ganesha is also consciousness. Krishna is also consciousness. Jesus is also a type of consciousness. So the ones who have found him, found the consciousness, only they can explain what this union bliss is. And the ones that are still chasing, they're still chasing. So thank you for staying this long on this unique video that's quite different from all the other chakras. And I hope you learned something new. Thank you for staying. If you want to share your personal story with me, I would love to have a call. I would like to meet more people who are living with the one consciousness in this divine world. So I would love to hear from you. My email is always in the description box below. If you have any questions on this journey, or if you want to merge, or you want to walk this path, email me. I'll do my best to guide you. And I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. It's Friday night in the Western region, and some parts are going to be Saturday morning. So I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Happy healing. Lots of love. I love you guys. Stay smiling. Stay positive. Spread love. Thank you. Have a wonderful night. Love you.